of the company, and his brand is top rankings road trend in the respective market. Since 2015, he is heading all the technical activities related to product development, designing, production, packaging development, standardization, market research, and strategies, etc. at the corporate level. He is a qualified lead auditor for quality management system for ISO certifications by IRCA, International Register of Certification Auditors UK. Over and all, Dr. Sharma is a positive personality with a demonstrated record of achievement, management, and responsibility. Over to you, Dr. Sharma. Sir, do we help you? Dr. Saurav, I think there is some issue with Dr. Sharma's net.
It seems that we missed Dr. Sharma during the time when me and Dr. Meenakshi has joined. So once again, formally we are welcoming Dr. Anil Kumar Sharma, Vice President, Amil Pharmaceuticals Limited, and Dr. Meenakshi Garg, Associate Professor, DIPSRU, to the session 12 of AICTE Atal FDP program being held in online mode at DIPSA, DIPSRU. Now I request Dr. Meenakshi Garg to kindly introduce the speaker of the session to all the participants and the guests available here. Over to you, Dr. Meenakshi Garg.
Thank you, Dr. Saurav. Good afternoon to all the audience and Dr. Sharma. Dr. Anil Kumar Sharma is a Vice President of Amil Pharmaceuticals India Limited, a very well-known industry leader. He is a postgraduate and doctorate in pharmacy with added post-graduation in management global business. He is having industrial experience from manufacturing, marketing, and regulatory affairs of around 27 years, including allopathic and Ayurvedic organizations with exposure to emerging and international market. He has visited several countries for business promotion, technical documentation, and establishing experience of the company and its brand as top rankings growth trend in the respective market. Since 2015, he is heading all the technical activities related to product development, designing, production, packaging development, standardization, market research, and strategies, etc. at the corporate level. He is a qualified lead auditor for quality management system for ISO certifications by IRCA, that is International Register of Certificated Auditors UK. Dr. Sharma is a positive personality with a demonstrated record of achievement, management, and responsibility. So again, I welcome you, Dr. Sharma. Dr. Sharma, do you need our help?
Sir, are you able to hear us? You can share the screen now, sir.
Dr. Saurav, I think there is some issue.
Yes, let me find out again. सर आप शेयर स्क्रीन कर सकते हैं सर अभी।
सर अभी देखिए सर. हेलो हेलो, इट्स वर्किंग.
Yes, it's audible.
आगे सर.
Yes.
ओके, वीडियो भी एक बार प्ले कर देता हूँ तो देख. जी मैं सर को दे देता हूँ. हेलो.
Yes, sir. Now we are getting your voice, sir. You can continue with the session, sir.
हेलो.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
हेलो.
Yes, sir, you can start sharing your screen.
हेलो. हेलो.
हाँ जी, आपकी आवाज आ रही है सर हमें वहाँ. एक बार आप अपना स्पीकर चेक कीजिए ना. स्पीकर एक बार अपना वो कर लीजिए चेक. इसमें म्यूट इसमें है ना, जहाँ माइक का जो दिया है सिंबल वहां जाकर.
for providing opportunity for having an short interaction with faculty and concerned students. Today I am presenting a of current scenario of development in the phytopharmaceutical industries. So I would be focused on the pharmaceutical industry. My key focus would be on part of the pharmaceuticals. As we all know that pharma profession is globally recognized profession all throughout the world, and pharmaceutical companies, they comes to the rank 3 all throughout the globe because they contribute more than 5 trillion US dollar in the market. Right. So we are amongst the top recognized and top appreciable industries all throughout the world. When we say of the pharmaceutical industry, we look into the scope of the pharmaceutical industry, into the discovery part of the drugs, developmental part of the pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, distribution, revenue generation of drugs, and medications by public and private organizations. So as a broad, this is pharmaceutical sector is nothing but just the health sector in any particular country. I inform. Am I audible to all, sir?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
I start with pharmaceuticals. We have the four main scope. Herbal, that is, and active pharmaceutical ingredients, they are the APIs. Then pharmaceutical dosage forms, including of the biopharmaceuticals, then diagnostics and surgicals. They are the four major pillars into which the pharmaceutical industry that comprises of. Pharmaceutical industry components, if we start from the research. That research may be confined to any CRO, or that market research, that may be the academic institution research. From the research, it goes to the media preparations. Then we develop the APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients, that goes either in the form of the generics or OTC market or biotechnological products. Then the product that goes into the packaging form. Thereafter, after the packaging from the manufacturer end, as per the supply chain management, it goes there, and then we check for the CROs for the phase 3 and phase 4 segment. So these are different components into which the pharmaceutical industries they function. So when we say about the pharmaceutical drug market all throughout the world, let it be a small country or a big country, a developed country or underdeveloped country, all countries they have some that may be traditional system, that may be the segment. So there is a for to adjust and in any part of the world, right? That is the pestle analysis. So when we say pestle analysis, it's concerned to the political, economical, social, technological, environmental, and the legal factors. These are the 7 major factors with which any country adjusts the pharmaceutical drug market. We have seen whenever the government change in any of the country, including India, we find there is some alterations going on in the strategies and policies of the government. Particularly on part of the legal, you must have heard that some molecules or some drugs, they are allowed in some part of the country, but that may not be allowed in other part of the country. Similarly, the economical factor there in the developed country, many of the higher technological innovations they take place, but maybe in the underdeveloped country, technological aspects they are not. When we look into the global pharma scenario, what we found that in the last 15 years, this is the present one, where we see that innovation is going on, and particularly if we look into the dark blue segment, that indicates the percentage growth in terms of the dollar and simultaneously with respect to the spendings. So the growth is there, and our spending in US dollar on the innovation that gradually comes. So that indicates that more is the growth in the global pharma scenario, there is a less of the spending comes on the part of the innovations. This is a global estimate about the herbal medicine market estimate is there, and by form 2015 to 26, what you see that initially tablets they used to be in specialty of the extra herb, they are in demand, and thereafter comes the formulation. So what in the earlier time, maybe about 6-7 years before, the dosage requirement that used to be conventionally tablet and capsule and the powders, but now the market they demand for more kind of the dosage formulations. Maybe the specific site release factor should be there, or maybe some other developments or innovative dosage formulations are there, including that of the brands. So from India, the Indian pharmaceutical industry that goes for the global dominance. The Indian pharmaceutical market with a total size of USD about 9 billions in 10 years before, about in 2009-10, Now it is growing pace that by 2020 it is expected to reach USD 55 billion, and thereby it is making a aggressive growth scenario with a GDP of about 6% globally. And what we see, the India, which is in sky blue color bars, that is maintaining a consistent growth when it is compared with other countries like China, Brazil, Russia. So the forecast is Indian market is forecasted to grow by at least 5% a year for the next 40 years approximately, as per the BRICS Beyond Goldman data. When we talk about the evolution of the Indian pharmaceutical industry, what we see before 1970, the industry that used to be in the early years where they're only hunging for the market share and Me Too products, they were in major phase. Most time the foreign companies, they had the hold in the market. In phase after 1970, Indian Patent Act was there, DPCO was there, and local companies gradually developed they came into the market and they started getting the major profit in the market. Third phase between the 1890, that was the development phase, and we started more into the process development and production infrastructure, more of the technological instruments and equipments imported. Fourth phase, 90 to 2000, it was the phase of the growth phase where we were having the more of the expansion in the domestic products, and we started entering into the international market. But now, particular phase, we are into the innovation and research phase where we are to accept the discovery research, more of the convergence, and also new intellectual property law we are to follow. Advantage India, according to the IBEF documentation, India is always given the preference because of which factors. First and foremost is the cost efficiency, because the technocrats in Indian market, they are aware with the excellent technological input, but having the economics in the cost factors. Then secondly part is the increasing the investments, because our political alterations now, and they are promoting the FDIs. So many of the countries and the industries, foreign industries, they are investing much into the country, and there are many merger and acquisitions factors that there. Economic drivers is economic prosperity to improve the drug affordability, increasing penetration of health insurance, that also is there in our country, and also with increasing penetration of pharmacy, especially in the rural areas. OTC drugs are also made available, readily made available, and there is a big potential of that. Similarly, 2020 that aimed at making India a global leader in end-to-end 2020 action to the Ministry of Health and Welfare to more than 6,000 crores, right? We have more scope to the development of the drug industry. The current scenario is that 72% initial term that is coming from generic, whereas our OTC segment is contributing about 19 and the patented drug too, because of some big Indian there or Zydus Cadila there or like that, they have more drug, is more prohibited than the drug. So we should emphasize more on part of development. When we talk about pharma market, few of the therapeutics that still focuses on the anti-infectives. The major share comes from the anti-infective. Thereafter is the cardiovascular drug and the GIT and respiratory and other particular segment is there. So in anti-infective, we have so many of the anti-infective, number of antibiotics and antimicrobials are there into the market. That indicates that still we are not to the top level of the society hygiene. And in the current scenario also, this viral epidemic from the COVID-19, we understand that so many antiviral drugs they have come, and some molecules they were successful to some extent, and some molecules they were not accepted well. So when we talk of the microbe, what we found in our country particularly, the scenario changes maybe after 5 years or 10 years, right? Few before we had a station, and thereafter another complication, epidemics are coming in different phases. Sometimes that may be because of the hepatitis or the root cause of change that causes the risk of the pandemics. So it is the nature, we don't have the control over nature, but only thing is we need to prepare our system in such a way that it should be preventable to the society to get the infections. When we talk of the nature, so we talk that though the nature is giving us the pandemic and epidemics from time to time, but simultaneously the nature has also given number of the plants, and these particular plants, they are middle measures, maybe in order to prevent or maybe in order to cure the epidemic's particular part. So these naturally derived products one is the form of medicines, Ayush, or because of the some sort of complex or same drugs, then type D molecule that comes of the medicine, and as the taxonomic culturally derived products category, we do in our right. And when we talk about the herbal industry, since our focus is on the herbal sector, what we found that our country, it has more than 1,600 licensed herbal manufacturing unit, and simultaneously 1,000 personal have listed the encyclopedia National Board NP. More than 242 medicines by quantum that estimated that their quantity required by the industry is 100 metric ton, maybe 2,000 metric ton, or that may be up to the 5,000 metric ton that they have. Emphasizing, have a clear mind what is the potential of the herbal industry in our country and how we can exploit into the particular uh, scenario that we can global market, we can earn lot much of the If we look into, though it is a data of the previous years, because the government they compile, it comes after a long much of the time, that from the estimated demand, what we found that 1,95,000 metric ton of the plants, medicinal plants, they are consumed every year. So we should develop our forests and our cultivational resourcing to that particular aspect, so that next 10 years or 20 years or 50 years, we should not be deprived of additional resources. And simultaneously, there is almost equal demand from export market. So all through the world, from the Indian medicinal encyclopedia, the world is picking up the raw material, and in a way we are getting the revenue out of that. And the rural sold, like the spices we are using, or like the neem we are consuming, or many medicinal plants they are consuming, even that estimated demand is 1,07,500 metric ton. So throughout more than 5 lakhs metric ton is the total quantity what we almost every year. This is the data of about 5 years. So we can expect good growth after this. We talk of market size, the oil industry. What we found, amongst all, many of the countries in neighboring to the Burma, they all are making their traditional form of the herbal medicines. And India is the largest market and accounts for more than US dollar 1,200 millions in terms of the financial revenue. And if we look in the bar graph into that, what we found that India is expecting a continuous growth in the next 5 years as well. Market size of Ayurvedic drugs, right? And in 2017, the exports that have been about 65 millions in 2017, and the major players, including our company, Amil Pharmaceutical, Himalaya Drug Company, Patanjali, all these major drugs in India, they are making a good contribution to the export of Ayurvedic medicine in the Ayurvedic form. So the scope of the global Ayurvedic market, because the major part of our export of Indian products that goes to the developed countries like USA and Canada, and even the European market as. So Ayurveda expected to be a $9.7 billion market by, that is the projection by 2022, as compared to $3.4 billion in 2015. And production in India projected to rise from US dollar to 5 billion in 2015 to US 8 billion by 2022. That is a part that how the global Ayurvedic market is promoting. Scope of the global Ayurvedic market, when we consider, these are some of the indications where herbal products they are preferred, like for cancer treatment, in order to have the rejuvenative work, in order to have immunomodulatory actions, respiratory disorders, mental health, nervous system disorders, diabetes or other lifestyle disorders, skin diseases, cardiovascular diseases, on preventable part for the autoimmune diseases and other applications. And the major Ayurvedic market by choice is North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, Middle East and Africa, and the South America. What our strength? Our strength is that one of the 17 mega biodiversity country of the world, and having more than 5,000 species of the about 1,000 plants used. Majority of the IS, nearly 9,500 wild plants are used by the tribe, right? And they also have given the new names with our scientific scrutiny. 3,900 plants they have been found for the edible utility. 300 species are used as the pesticides. Number plants having direct medicinal use, including that of the ISM and others, that is about 7,500. And new claims and leads, that is more than 950 plants. So that means whatever the mega diversity is there, we have a big scope of the more and more discoveries and more developmental aspects and our innovation strategies in order to develop new molecular segments. Plants, they are not just confined only to Ayush system or ISM system or traditional system of medicines or complementary medicines. No, they become a very important base for our pharmaceutical. While we talk of the appreciation for the ISM system, but what we found that there are the limitations in the Ayurvedic medicines, and there we have the scope to intervene into the traditional. What normally we pharma people and medical people won't do. And the scope where we can enter is the limitation of Ayurvedic system is that by law, they have mentioned 55 prescribes, right? And it is a mandate that Ayurveda is within those 54 prescribed book. Similarly, in Unani also, they have given number of the textbooks, and same way Unani, Siddha, and this other homeopathy is there. So that limitation is there. So anything beyond the scope of those plants, suppose I just mentioned something like soya bean. So soya bean is one of the edible drug that is rich in the PUFAs and MUFAs compounds. Those particular components, but we cannot include it because it is not mentioned in those particular. Hence, that is not a under the plant drugs. Then, similarly, in the Ayurvedic text, every herb is mentioned for multi, right from the toe to the bottom, right? They have mentioned this is good for this is good for this is good for this. But there is no scientific studies or the that which particular fraction may be good for it. I have mentioned that aqueous extract is good. Like from the Gugulu, it is mentioned that the aqueous that is processed in the Tirfala, that is good for the use. But why it is use, they don't know. Friend like the Google steroid there, why this use again? So that goes east. So we have those particular kind from our pharmaceutical wing. The standardization procedure, they are normally what they have mentioned into the Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia of India. Otherwise, in the classical book, except the morphological description, there is not much of that. So morphological and organoleptics, that becomes the base of the quality standard as per the conventional approach. And even if there is more of the scientific, some procedures are given in Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia also, but that doesn't reach to any particular conclusion because the phytocomponents or the extractive proportionates, they are not known to us, right? So next particular limitation is that the plant drugs, they are not identified on the taxonomical basis. Hence, there is no concrete different species what are in the diversity of the nature. We all know that maybe with the passing of the age or in various geographication, number of the species variants are there or the varieties are there. Like earlier, there used to be the person that Bhui Amla, that is Phyllanthus neuriis, but later on when they intervene, we know that Bhui, this Phyllanthus neuriis is available in our country. Is the Phyllanthus amorous. So that particular identification of that particular ones, they are not known as per the. Similarly, there is no valid documents here on the safety of the drugs, and normally the claim is that we exist in the society for more than 5,000 years or like that, but yet we have proven that particular safety based on some standard OECD guidelines or any other guideline the part. And what we recommend that our pharmaceutical system, things are going on well. There is a separate basis of the safety and clinical evaluation. Now, the ministry, they are gradually developing their norms, and now they are including all parts of the pharmacovigilance also and other parts. So only protocol and process they are given, and they are only followed. Then global acceptance of the reason above is very low. So when we talk of export, right, the export potential that goes from the actives, phytochemical like the Sanofi and all that, but the preference maybe from Ayurveda or maybe from Yunan, that is very low. So when in comparison to the botanicals which are available in the Western market or European market and all throughout the globe, they are very acceptable because they define their very properly and with the document. And in the documentation, still we have the liberty that whether the product is effective, low effective, more effective, no problem, but it has to be very safe. So the safety profile of the conventional Ayurvedic drugs that need taken up at the priority by Ayush system or the pharmaceutical professionals they themselves. Now, in order to come out from the limitations of the Ayurveda system, a new segment of the drug that have been included into the system, though initially there was more attention that these plant drugs and the limitations of identifying the medicine phytoconstituent, but with the total raw. So this segment has come as the new drug with the CITSCO, that is under the control of the DCGI. So what basically is the phytopharmaceutical drug that we need to understand, and that includes purified and standard fraction. So these two terminologies, they are very important. It has to be the most purified form, and it has to be repeatedly quality fraction should there. That is the standard fraction. Okay, it should not happen that one time it is showing 0.5% alkaloid and second time when you process it goes to 0.8%. So that variance should not be there. Okay, and even if some limit is there, we have to specify a narrow limit of that. And the four particular factors are there for the need of the phytopharmaceutical drug. First one is it should define minimum of the four bioactive or phytochemical compounds by qualitatively and quantitatively assessment of an extract of a medicinal plant part. Okay, so when you are doing any single formulation, mix the multi plants, we should differentiate four parts. Is it should be intended internal or external use of human beings or the animals. Third particular part is for the diagnosis treatment, prevention of any disease or disorder. So we cannot say that it is just for the academic interest and we don't know whether it will be useful or not. And fourth particular thing is, but it does not include administration by the parental route as specified in 2EB of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act and the rules there under 1945. So this is the definition type for phytopharmaceuticals. So while we know about the phytopharmaceuticals, we are to initiate the particular things from our traditional knowledge or the indigenous knowledge, right? And from that we make the survey, because many of the leaf compound that comes from our traditional society, right, where they are using the particular thing. Like, just to give you one society, one example, that we all are consuming mint or the coriander leaves during the summertime. Okay, our priority remains in summertime and they are available. But now we come to know that they are good kidney time in our traditional habits. It is there in our habitat that we should, because of the summer, so kidney they may have the extra load in order to elute the waste products. So there is the toning of the system is there, and that is the knowledge comes from our generation to generation system or the traditional system. So from knowledge to plant collection, and after that taxonomical screening is very essential, because if the selection of the plant is not proper, we cannot be assured of the results. We cannot whether the there because of the species variance or some other variety. So that particular screening is there. Thereafter it comes to the phytochemical screening. We will principles are there. And extractive requirement be, we need to isolate, or at least we have to make the active bioactive component rich fraction of the plants. Thereafter would be the pharmacological screening in the initial part. Then we make the drug formulation, and in the formulation again we have to do the pharmacological screening for the effect of the active and bioactive and the excipients, that is the inactive components. There would be the more of the value addition according to the feedback, and thereafter it will go to the market. And after making the market, then we enter into the phase 4 of the clinical study, that is the post marketing segment. So this is altogether in any of the phytopharmaceutical industry, they will be the major step which would be taken care of. Now in the pharmaceutical, what we identify, what we have the significance, that most of the active ingredients or the lead molecule of the modern medicine, they are obtained from the plants initially. Thereafter we elucidate them, we characterize them, and we make the synthetic sources of them. They are either obtained directly or are synthetic derivatives of the plant derived molecules. There are Indian herbal extract market by the end users. They are into various forms for the pharmaceutical purpose, for the nutraceutical purpose, for the purpose, food and beverage industries, etc. Either in the form of the extract types, or in the form of the oleoresins, or in the form of the flavonoids, or in the form of the essential oils, and so they become the standard parts of them. And the standards in any of the phytopharmaceutical drug, as we discussed earlier, that minimum 4 identifiable standard bioactive markers have been there. The number of compound with bioactivity may be considered on the case-to-case basis, right? And the applicant should specify the limits for the bioactive phytochemical compounds for maintaining batch to batch consistency. If we look for pharmaceuticals, the CESCO, that major drug is approved as pharmaceutical. Under applications and development part, which the manufacturers they have applied over there. Then the GMP requirement, the manufacturer that has to conform in the facilities available, right? And that GMP that has to be recognized for the requirements related to the raw, whether the herb has been taken from the cultivational source that have been collected, how it was collected, what was the drying phenomenon, minimal processing, storage, transportation, all these aspects of the raw herb that need to be allocated, right? Second part is that the processing of botanical in order to bind them to a coarse powder, extract them into the various solvents, and fractionation particular part is there, whether it is the aqueous part of alcohols, right? And other unit operation, the spray drying and freeze bed drying and the provisions for the packing in the bulk container. Formal compatibility with recipient's dosages form selected for product formulation, right? Various steps involved in the production. This area to adopt such procedures and documentation that would prevent and affect the integrity of the final product. So these are standard milestones what we need to from the nature enters into the part, and now just highlight some sort of phytopharmaceutical preparations, but all are commonly known plants. From the rhizome, the curcumin longa, the capsules they are available, and they are used for various therapeutic purposes, maybe for the skin disease, maybe for joints pain or like that. But the actual use, but the most prominent use of curcumin, what we have found is malignant patients. So it has been found that it prevents, slower down the progression of degeneration of into the cancers. So curcumin is one of the most known component. Similarly, the ginger from the ginger that have been found very effective, and the oily component. Then we have the next drug, artemisinin. From the Artemisia and malaria drug, mostly we found this Uttaranchal belt. We found in the Himalayan belt at the height of about 2,500 feet. We found that this particular plant is growing very well, and that is rich in the active component. So artemisinin, this is available. It is just a market. Originally, this drug was the habitat of the China from the Himalayan region. It has come down to the level of our country in the hill areas. For maybe as insecticidal, maybe as soap, and for our skin preparation. So for the medicinal use also is being used, and component is having the rich component of the nimbin or the like that or the marble. So neem also there are different genus are there which are recognized as something like the sweeter neem. So Margot species is the sweeter neem that we also use in the medical plants also, and it comprises of the rich phytochemical fraction. We are using neem for various traditional as well as in our lifestyle for different purposes, and all of its parts, all the whole plant, whole tree is being used maybe as a leaf or a seed or the bark of the leaves or the roots, the twigs. So these are the major parts of the neem what are very popularly used. Thereafter comes the gymnema, that is the gudmar, and it is a very prominent herb, though it one time it has also been imported from the western shore, but now it is growing very and mostly in middle India, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. Particular plant that is cultivated, and it is containing rich components like the gymnemic acid, right? And also is available in the form of the capsules or the tabs for the diabetic treatment or as the laxative or diuretic. We have the component like the ashwagandha capsule, and that is having number of the therapeutic component. Vidaferin, lights are there. Besides that, omniferin is there, which is exerting the anti-anxiety effect. So, as per the Ayurveda claim, it is indicated as the anti-stress or anti-anxiety or maybe for the fatigue as a good adaptogen. But on the other part, it is being used for the rheumatoid arthritis, various erectile dysfunction. So again, I have to cite that the ashwagandha is to be used for which particular type. Give it as an test. It should be rich in the some. Maybe the lights and with the ferrin they are very active. May have just a second. Hello. Yes, please. Hello. Sir. Yes, please. Similarly, another particle plant which may have is from Brahmi asiatica, and that is rich in acid component. And Brahmi also number of varieties are there, and yet we are to find out Centella asiatica is good enough, or the hydrocotyl asiatica is good, and there is a particular plant is there, that is the Bocapa moniara. So Bocapa moniara is simultaneously having the similar effect. It becomes a beauty of our on the fight to that which particular variety of the plant is having not only confining therapeutic segment. These plant drugs or phytofractions, they are also for the aroma industry. So there also we have a good of that. So simultaneously, just to select, I would just mention that in the perfume industries, in the cooking and cosmetics and licorices, these essential oil from the plant, they are taken the consideration, and that also contribute as a major group of industrial products. So what we found, the market size of the aromatic industry, according to the data, what we found that the spa and relaxation and in the personal hygiene, and part that is being used in the medicine system and in the food and beverage sector. If we into the global market demand that contributes annually 47 tons in 2020, and expected growth in this particular 7.5% in the next 5-6 years. So can have a good scope even in the allied market also, because that again is essentially a part of the pharmaceutical industry. And here it comes some of the institutional section, right, which are into the development or into the research work from the governmental part, which works on the medical and aromatic plants, and that is the Ministry of Ayush is the SIR, then Directorate of Medicinal Agriculture Research, launch of aromation of aromatic crop is there, then CCARS, that is Central Council for Research in Iodine System is there, even the DRDO, which is making missiles and other war armaments, they also into the research of any of the herbal based formulations for the therapeutic use, and their mission is that they look at the condition of the soldiers which are in very diverse situations at the border side or in uh, uh, high altitudes, and they look that because of environment or because of the things, there is no major complications. And we also are very fortunate seeking many transfer of technologies from the organizations like DRDO. So they are also into the part of this. So when we are looking into the scope, now I shall precisely discuss over the part of the regulatory part about the phytopharmaceuticals. Now, under this CITSCO, Directorate of Health and Services, Ministry of Health and Welfare, right? These pharmaceuticals, they have entered as the NDA, new drug abbreviations are there, entity there, and they have been defined in the Rule 122E of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act and the rules thereunder as a prerequisite for clinical trials. A phytopharmaceutical, what is that, which have not been in the country to any significant extent under the conditions prescribed, recommended or suggested in the labeling thereof, has not been recognized as effective and safe by licensing authority mentioned under Rule 21 of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. So that indicates that this is the new drug division which is to be essentially clinical tried for its safety and efficacy, and it should be really new. It should not happen that for the century of year we are using that, we are saying drug. No, it has to be identity, not recognized in our professional society for its identity or the recommend or whatever the applicant claim is there. It is not used for that. Right? Similarly, any new substance proclaimed for therapeutic use, actually it has to has the therapeutic and already applied with modified or new therapeutic claims, indication, dosage form. So even if the drug is already known, if the drug is already known, but still in the modified, we can enter, take that particular medicine. Suppose curcumin is there as the anti-cancer drug, right? So our claim goes beyond the scope of that as a new. Then fixed dose combination of the drugs, they are the new because they need to be evaluated, right? All vaccines and recombinants are DNA derived products. They are also under the new drugs because vaccine against the virus or the bacteria, and they have the tendency, microbes, they have the tendency of making of the variant. So you always have the scope of assessing, quality assessing of these the recombinants. A new drug shall consider as a new drug for 4 years. Once any drug and it exists in for 4 years, then you have to take it as a new drug, right? Thereafter will be a regular drug, and any manufacturer, without putting in any effort into its establishment of the safety or therapeutic efficacy, they can directly seek the permission to manufacture that. Now these are the legal provisions for the import and manufacture of the new drugs. Right? Schedule Y of the Drugs and Cosmetic Act that elaborate on this particular part, and the subsections of the rule 122A, permission to import the drug. 122B is permission to manufacture drug. 122D is permission to import or manufacture of the fixed dose combinations. Then the other particular section that goes beyond that, that in case there is no conformance to the requirement, regulatory requirement, then it may, the license or the permission that may goes for suspension or cancellation. Similarly, these the other particular segment into that. And the important part in this segment is the GCP. GCP is good clinical practices. So these particular guidelines, they need to be followed. And for that, under section 122DA, rule 122DA, permission to conduct the clinical trial is to be applied. And what basically is the clinical trial is there, all basic requirements are there about its registration in ETRI or its approval by the institutional ethical committee. What will be the protocol of the inspection is there, what subjects will be taken to the clinical trial. Suppose the human beings are taken, what is the gender requirement, what is the age group requirement, what is the insurance part of that. Again, is very essential now, the safety of that, which are for the clinic. So it's not like that consider like the guinea pigs and you try any particular new drug. No, you are to take the consent for, you are to make the arrangement of the insurance, individual insurance or the group insurance, and then only you can conduct the clinical trials. So these phytopharmaceuticals and the ASU drugs, that is the Ayurveda and Unani drugs, they are differentiated according to the drugs are cosmetic, referring to rule uh, 152 phytopharmaceuticals. Already we have discussed that under section 3.8H, this definition is there that Ayurveda, Siddha and Unani drug that includes all medicine are diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, but only authoritative books of the system, right? Specified in the first schedule. However, the phytopharmaceuticals, they are the friend of crude extracts and are differentiated by purified and sterilized. So again, we go for in this particular part, clinical trials requirement in appendix 1B of Schedule Cosmetics Act. These particular there, even the clinical overall, you are bound to the requirements or the guidelines prescribed for the conducting the clinical trial for the new drugs. Like for all phytopharmaceuticals, data from phase 1 determine the appropriate dose, toxicity, and the protocol submitted prior to the studies. Data of those finding studies performed and the protocol shall be submitted prior to performing the studies. These are the elaboration that initially before conducting the clinical trial, there is a proper study of the particular phytochemical factors in rest of the drug, what it is there. Thereafter, we are into that this standardized fraction, whether what is the maximum tolerated dose is there and what side effects are there. So according to the OECD guidelines, these clinical studies, they are to be there. After the phase 1, then you are to take the phase 2, where you implied it, right? Smaller group of the experimental subjects, right? And thereafter, it will be the final study on a larger group, that is the phase 3. So these particular phases are there, based on which the permission from the DCGI that would be given. So this is just in the particular factor that from the R&D, we are to develop the protocol and investigation and selection would be there, and there has to be the sponsor responsibility and the CRO responsibilities, right? And else would be done according to protocol. Whatever the results are coming, the data entry and review part would be there. Thereafter, the statistical analysis would be done for the results, and S, that is the serious adverse events. That is very, very important when you conduct any clinical trial, right? So they were to cite that how many patients they had the minor side effects and how many patients at what stage they had the serious adverse events and how you have taken care of them, right? And all these the reports, they goes back to the sponsor or the CRO, and thereafter it is the review pattern of the CRO sponsor that how the things they are to be taken justified norms, right? So only in the successful clinical studies, safety norms, they would be taken. So trial regulatory norm, right? It is the the GEM, the good manufacturing practice, which is comprises on the factors 4 M's. 4 means man, machine, material, methodology, or the environment. Right. So these are the 4 physical part where man is pertaining to the adequate training, its qualifications, behavior, process dealing, personal hygiene. They are very essential of that. Then the machine pertaining to the technological innovations. Methodology is pertaining to manufacturing, prescribed documentation, then there, and materials. That is the products, reagents, components, contain enclosures, and the labels. They all are inclusive of that. That we so why we take of the 4 M's of the GMP, then is the team of the people, and they comprise in phyto industry as the pharmacist or the botanist, phytochemists will be there, taxonomist has to be there, Ayurvedist or relevant profession they have to be there, managers in order to smooth the functioning, different functioning to make allied of them, managers they are to be there, engineering in order to facilitate our productions, housekeeping factor would be there, accountant, supervisors and workmen. So it is an integrative team of different people in order to perform the diverse functional for the manufacture. When of the machines, we require the storage vessels, we require the dedusters, washing provisions, grinders, extractors, or the pressure vessels according to the need of the manufacturing process, what solvent we are taking, what temperature we are taking, what process pressure would there according to we have to modify them. Then juicers are required in the herbal filters by air filter or the color filters are required. Dryers are required. Are required. Regulators, bottling, packing, these all in the utility treatment plant, which is very essential. And every time the GMP, either in the national norms or in the international norms, there is always modifications in the of the WTP, ETP, air handling unit, and HVAC, etc. So these are the phytochemical industries, they function. Thereafter comes the material, maybe from plant drugs, from operations. Many we purchase the application itself from the crude, that may be the goods of the mineral origin, that may be the goods of the animal origin, containing the excipients and flavors, then packing material, engineering goods would be required, office goods, utilities and fuels are the different components into the material pharmaceutical industry. And in the methodology, different processes are there. Already we have elaborated them from cleaning, washing. Now this is a very important particular plant, particular part of methodology in herbal industry. Whether it is only to be the dry dusted or it requires to be washed. And if it requires to be washed, what will be the process of washing? At what particular temperature you are to give the wash? What is the treatment time? Whether 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, right? Because suppose it is a bark, it will take more time to make it free from the dust. But in case it is the root or if it is a leaf, then the timings they would be different. Then cutations, many of the fresh herbs they are being used, so you should have a good cutter in order to cut it into the smaller, that is the chopping of the particular plants like the giloy we are using as a fresh material, and you need to chop that particular material before being extracted. So these are the stated different of the processing is there, right? Even the micronizing is very important because some of the components like the drugs like suppose the cinnamon is there or clove there, so you need to micronize its powder maybe to more than 200 mesh. There the 30 mesh on 60 mesh, that may not be that workable. So in order to homogenizing in the blend, you need to micronize that to a very, very fine particle size. So when we talk about structure, what are in the last component on the part of that how we are to make the application. So either for the or for the manufacture of new phytopharmaceutical drugs, they are to be application is to be made on 44 prescribed in the drug and cosmetics rule to the DCGI, CITSCO department, Directorate General of Health and Services, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, FDA Bhavan at ITO Kotla Road. So specifically the address is given that which particular division under CITSCO, under the DCGI, because otherwise what happens, many of the people, they directly approach the DCGI office at the Nirman Bhavan in the Ministry of Health, and they may not know exactly. So that's why it is being prescribed that where the application be made, either for the purpose of the import or for the manufacture of the farm. Secondly, the applicant shall submit documents specified under appendix. So there are given, and in that particular list, it is that what the drug is, what are its claim, and what are basis in order to take it. Studies they have been done. What is the further scope of the study by the applicant that to be mentioned. Form 44, which is elaborating rules, what we have discussed earlier. And this is the format of the application that I, applicant for the company, hereby apply for the grant of permission import and or for clinical trial or for approval to manufacture, whatever the purpose is there, a new drug or fixed dose combination or subsequent permission for already approved new drug. So if it is already approved, then we can directly, it is already approved and it is in market for more 4 years, then you have the entitlement to directly take the permission for the manufacturing of without conducting any special clinical studies. So these are the particulars what need to be given for the particular drug mentioned. It's a dosage form what you intend to manufacture or import, condition of the formulation, test specification, whatever they have been already done, pharmacological classification of drug, indications for which proposed to be used, manufacturer of the raw material, patent status of the drug. It should not be a patent entity of any individual from other country, right? So that need to be there, and these all data they need to be submitted, chemical and for information, animal pharmacology. We have to give in the pharmacology all effects on the body of the animal for various systems. Like suppose for the hepatology, what is the effect? What is the effect on the GIT? What is the effect on the kidney? What is the effect on the brain? What is the biochemical alterations in the blood or the toxicology? That means what is the maximum lethal dose or the therapeutic dose or the safety profile, acute studies or subacute studies of the particular product. Then the phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 of the clinical trials, they need to be data. In case it is there, it has to be mentioned there. Bioavailability, dissolution and stability, that data need to be mentioned. Regulatory status in other countries, market information, proposed product monograph, draft, label, cartons, and application for the test, they all be mentioned. subsequent approval and permission for, if it is already approved, then you have other particular things like formulation, what is the availability or bioequivalence of the protocol, who will remain source of raw material. So that means their data would be pertinent. Then this data which are for the fixed dose combination, that means what is that means what is the we say hypothecation of proof, that why you have made these particular combination of the herbs, what is the basis of that. So that may have the review, pre-reviewed journal or the textbook or the literature has to be there. Data on pharmacokinetics or pharmacodynamics combination would be there. Any other data generated the applicant on the safety and efficacy of the component, they all be required. And in case it is the application for a new indication, that the drug is already known and it is already approved for one particular set of the indication, and you want more than that, a new indication is there. So there again, some of the data they would be required. So already granted permission is there, and what is your justification for the new claim or the modified dose is there, and data generated on safety. So suppose tomorrow, if some sort of the sustained release or some external preparations or some inhaler from the phytopharmaceutical, you are give that particular generated data for its efficacy or quality parameters. These are the various application fees what they have been prescribed, and that need to be submitted. And for clinical trials, 1 phase 2 phase 3, it was 1,025,000. So the prescribed fees there, and that one need to applicant need to. In case it is only a import or then only one-time fees of 3,000 would be given for the licensing. And these are the evaluation of the applications by the IND, or that means the investigational new drug. This is the flow chart of that. That initially the presentation by the applicant is given application, and there will be the preliminary examination by the SITSCO department. Thereafter, the would be there by by the applicant, and it goes only is there. In case the amendments are required, it is coming back for and the applicant the report, and again. So the scope of the pharmaceuticals, that is very. We expect that our technical, because without integrating different functions into the profession, no pharmaceutical they only their but not the part that are the basis for therapy. One thing is people they know about, and they are assured of the traditional therapeutic values of these particular drugs. Like in the time of the epidemic, we that we have seen that the society they have adopted, they have accepted lot many of the herb-based formulations. So in the case of any particular segment, in any particular new disease condition, the first and foremost approach by society is to move towards the nature, and that is the advantage. But simultaneously, we need to develop our systems in our society should be global. Though progressing, still there are limitations in the development of phytomedicines in our country. First and foremost is the depleting resources, that because there is the growth of our civilians in the population, there is a rise of the population that is depleting our source. Not only forest, simultaneously the agricultural resources is there. Lack of agro-technological standardization there. For the food product, many of the agro sector, they are technology, but from medicinal plants, the cultivation process very low, and thereby till now we don't size what is the better way of the aspect in terms of making more of the of bioactive quality again. So what we found that in the competence or because of education, but this becoming they know the herbal remedy we are only find there. The practice again there is the limitation. Cultural harvesting practices there. Just next. Hello. 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 मैं कर रहा हूँ. Enough difficulty. Developer let be natural even scope of the role farmer profession simultaneously contribute much industry and also to our nation, our society. So these particular aspects like the GCP practices or standardization and what we look into that, let's contribute to the nation economy diversity of the nature, and this diversity we are blessed by the nature with more than 40,000 biodiversity plants. So we should explore much of them and not merely to work only to a restricted scope of that, but to a very, we are to extrapolate the scope of those particular to the full industrial product in the the they just it is because how the conversation will go on. On part of from my mobile, really quickly.
Dr. Meenakshi, I think you can conclude. Sir has completed his session. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for an enlightening and stimulating presentation. Actually, we have been reading a lot about Ayurveda, and your talk made it all come alive for us. You also shared your views on regulatory aspects of phytopharmaceuticals, and it was good to know that India is the largest market for Ayurveda, and it is costing around 1,200 million US dollars. Initially, there were some hits in the presentation, maybe some technical issue, but your presentation drew the audience in and held their attention for almost 1.5 hours. And participants have been requesting your presentation slides. So would it be possible for you to share the presentation?
Dr. Meenakshi, I have connected Dr. Sharma through my phone, and now onwards you can speak, and he will be able to hear to you.
So again, I have to speak?
Yes, once more, madam. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Okay. No problem. Actually, Dr. Sharma, what I was saying that we have been reading a lot about Ayurveda, and your illustrated talk made it all come alive for us. During our pharmacy career and pharmacy studies, we used to read about Ayurveda, but not in that too detail. You also shared your views on regulatory aspects of phytopharmaceuticals, and you also shared that India is the largest market for Ayurveda medicine, that costing around 1,200 million US dollars. That is really eye-opening. Your presentation drew the audience in and held their attention for almost 1.5 hours. Thank you, sir, for enlightening and stimulating presentation. And we have received one question on your presentation. That is, can we say biosimilars are new drugs? If yes, then why? And if no, then also why not?
Can we take bio?
Can we say biosimilars are new drugs? If yes, then why? And if not, why not? It is related to biosimilars. Participant is asking whether they are considered under new drugs.
No, as a new drug, we can take biosimilar, right? Because ultimately the purpose is that it should provide the similar activity in that particular therapeutic segment. So we can give that irrespective of the system, irrespective of the resourcing, right? We can give the biosimilar formulation or the product from any system. But in
So
case
it will be considered as a new drug?
Ayurveda text, yes. In case it is not prescribed in those particular texts, then it would be considered as a new drug.
So Dr. Ganguly, I think your query is now complete. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for excellent session.
Yeah.
And sir, earlier to this, Dr. Meenakshi and I shall join her in requesting that because of internet issues, the participants could not see all the slides, or sometimes they could not hear. So they have been requesting in the chat box to request to you on their behalf for giving them either the slides or the resource materials. Like they are very much excited about the topic, but some of the times because of the interruptions in technology, they could not connect well with you.
Right. So in case anybody wants any backup, I can share my presentation at your email, Dr. Saurabh.
Yes, sir. That would be great, sir. Then
Yeah, I would share all the information in this presentation to your email.
yes, sir.
And to the concerned person, you can declare it to the participant that whatever the backup they require, they can write to the respective email or to my email.
Right,
I
sir.
will reply them accordingly.
Yes, sir. Sir, send only PDF. PowerPoint we will not be sending, only PDF in the form.
Yeah, on the PDF form I will be sending.
Ji, sir. Ji, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Meenakshi, is there any further query?
No, there is no further any query.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for sharing your precious time with us. And we know that you are at such a top position with Emil and being a vice president and still finding time for teaching. Like I can say that even technology could not deter you today. But at one time, however, I was fearful that how we are able going with this session further. And some of the participants were also getting this fear and they were writing in the chat box too. But I can understand because they were also keen learners and you are also a very keen teacher to teach them. So nature also helped in both the sides.
Phyto industry, I intended to give them the good information, whatever the applicable part is there, and we can communicate. So this is not the end of the interaction. They can always write to you, and through the institute, let the query come to me. We will look into that how best we can reply them.
Definitely, sir. And as a concluding statement, I would say that herbs are the best gift of nature to mankind. And hearing about them through you was like divine, sir. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And sir, in this COVID era, like we are unable to meet each other physically. So we have prepared one digital certificate and I request Dr. Meenakshi Garg to join me and felicitate you as a token of our respect, sir, with this digital certificate.
Please.
Kindly,
This
kindly
is a
accept
small
this one.
token from all of us.
And we
So
shall be
please
sending it
accept
by
it.
post, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you
very
so much, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you
Namaskar.
so much, sir, for gracing this session. Here we complete our day 4 of Atal FDP, and I thank each and every one of you for your utmost patience. Hope to see you all again tomorrow as we proceed towards our final day, that is day 5 at 10 a.m. Until then, everyone, please mark your attendance in the Google form that will be shared with you in the WhatsApp group by 6 p.m. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you so much, all of the participants, Dr. Meenakshi Garg, and all the IT team, everybody who are taking all the pain, all the interest, all the focused. They are all very much focused for making this program a successful FDP. Thank you so much and see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Thank you so much.